What is going on, everybody? Star Wars Dad back for another video. Today we're going to be checking out Asajj Ventress, Tarkintown. This leader is pretty sweet. At first glance, I was like, I don't know about this one. But as I've played around with this more, and Tarkintown definitely feels like the right base for this leader. And I'll get into that here in a second. But before we get into today's video, please make sure to check out my Patreon. Even if you just join as a free member, we have lots of great stuff on there and a great community that we are building together. And please make sure to like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and sign up for the 3,500 subscriber giveaway so that you can have a chance at winning one of the 3 Millennium Falcons that I will be giving away. But to kind of get into this leader, so the action ability says deal 1 damage to a friendly unit. If you do, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit. So at first you're like, well, you know, grit makes sense, right? Like I want to play units that have grit so they can benefit and damage things. So as I've played around with this more, I would say this is like, can be aggressive. It can play aggressive, but also can play more defensively. And then it can kind of come out of nowhere and really close the game out. So on turn 1, I want to have as many options as possible so that I can remove my opponent's unit if they are playing a more aggressive style deck. I also want to play aggressively myself if it's against more of a control style deck. So if I'm playing against Sabine, right, I want to have the option to choose either Kylo's Silencer, Hylobond Enforcer, Pike Sentinel, or Onyx are my choices, right? So basically, any one of those is good. Even Daring Raid is good. But I would prefer to have a unit on board because I can use the unit to set up Daring Raids the next turn. But so let's say they play a Sabine. So I play a Pike Sentinel. Then I use Asajj Ventress's ability. I damage my Sentinel for 1. It is now a 2/2 Sentinel. And then I damage their Sabine for 1. And then I use Tarkintown and remove their Sabine. So basically, on turn 1, any unit that I play becomes a way to activate Tarkintown as long as that unit is in the same arena as my opponent's unit. So that's why I want to have as many options as possible, because this immediately puts my opponent behind and it forces them to have to ECL into me potentially if they want to take out my unit or get a unit back on board, which then sets up my Daring Raids to take them out. Daring Raid itself is also a good way to just activate Tarkintown on turn 1, as you know. But the ability to do this with units, especially things like Hylobond Enforcer, where it immediately gets stronger, is really cool. That situation that I just mentioned also sets up things like Death Trooper, because they ECL into, let's say I kill the Sabine in that example, right? And then they ECL into my Pike and take it out with, like, let's say Fighters for Freedom on turn 2, right? They take 2 damage, then I play Death Trooper and I remove their Fighters for Freedom. So we're doing a lot of, like, just taking the momentum of the game right away in our favor, and we're keeping it there. We have a good amount of removal in here too. I toyed around with this a lot. There's definitely times where you really need the removal, and maybe, as we get more spoilers, that may change. You may want to play this even more aggressively, because it definitely has an aggressive tone to it that it can really pop off. And the fact that you can use your units at any time to damage things, and like Death Trooper and Imperial Interceptor are really sweet in here, because they're basically like pieces of removal, not just like the normal thing that they do of like damaging things. I mean, we know that they're pieces of removal. What I mean is that when I play Death Trooper, it can now do 3 damage to a unit. And when I play Imperial Interceptor, it can now do 4 damage to a unit, as long as it survives after I play it. Because then I can use Asajj's ability and do an extra damage to take that thing out. So it's been a really fun kind of messing around with this. There's definitely some great units in here with the Hylobond Enforcer, the Death Watch Loyalist, the Fifth Brother, the Devastating Gunship. All those types of things are definitely really sweet as well. But like I said, it's kind of like it can play aggressively, but I'm also playing defensively, and then kind of taking over the game around the flip turn, as you do with most leaders. We have a lot of space units in here, and that is also on purpose, because Asajj's upgrade ability is disgusting. on any one of these space units, whether it's Kylo Silencer, Onyx, the droid missile platform, the Imperial Interceptor, the Devastating Gunship is definitely one of the better ones, and even Ruthless Raider, if our other spaceships are not able to survive, we can still play that and then put Asajj on there. You know, giving that unit grit, making it a leader, you know, for example, on Devastating Gunship, right? Like it becomes a 6/9 with grit, and then when you attack it, you damage yourself. So it's just making itself stronger every single time it attacks. So it immediately swings in for 7 damage there, which is really sweet. And that can really, really take over the game quickly if your opponent doesn't have an answer for that. But yeah, it's one of those things you kind of have to see it play out to show you the synergies that it has. But it's felt really strong. I feel like this is going to be a good one, this Asajj Tarkintown, just from playing around with it. Like Tarkintown in general is very, very good, but the fact that we have so many ways to activate it in this deck on turn 1 just to immediately take out our opponent's unit is really, really good. Very rarely do I miss on that because I have so many options on turn 1. And that's, you know, and then if I do miss, I have tons of removal to help me to catch up. And the Daring Raids are very, very good in here because Asajj is damaging things so easily. Daring Raid can finish so many things off. And that's why it's important to have the cheap space units and the cheap ground units, like the Hylobon, the Pikes, the Kylos, and the Onyxes, because even if I don't play them on turn 1, they're still really good to play later, like turn 2, turn 3, because I can still do the thing where I damage a unit in the arena, ping their thing, Tarkintown it, or Daring Raid it to finish it off for cheap. And that really helps me to gain momentum and kind of take over the board. The droid missile is another really good target for Asajj because it makes it a 7/6 with grit as well. The Dengar, of course, is just nice in here as a way to like beef up our space units randomly in certain situations, put the indirect damage on them, which also sets up everything else that we're doing, kind of fits the theme of what we're doing in here. I cut one droid missile because I really like the Imperial Interceptor in here against space heavy decks because of the ability to do 4 damage, and for it to kind of be a, you know, any 3/2 in this deck, or really any space unit is good for Asajj. Like I haven't found one where I was like, that's not very good for this. Like giving something +3, +4, and giving it grit is just very strong. So Devastating Gunship obviously has great synergy in here, just to be able to come in, kill a thing. The grit that it already has, it's got 5 HP, which is nice, so it's a great target. Ruthless Raider kind of finishes things off, and the Planetary Bombardment kind of does the same. I have 2 of those in the main, 1 in the side. I think you'd bring that 3rd copy in against more control matchups, as well as like your Crate Dragons. Obviously the sideboard is still just like, this is really early theory crafting, but it does feel like it definitely has the burn element to it with the pushing of damage, the indirect damage, the Ruthless Raiders, the Planetary Bombardment. The Asajj upgrade on a space unit is very, very strong. That can quickly close the game out in combination with those things. The No Disintegrations card definitely makes a lot of sense in here, and it might need to be like a sideboard card, because there's definitely some situations where it does not feel good. Like I'd rather have Power of the Dark Side, for example, like leaders. But there's a lot of situations where it feels great for 3 resources to get them down to 1 damage, and then if I have a unit in that arena, or if I'm at like 5, 6, 7 resources, I can then play a unit in their arena and then ping that unit and finish it off. The unit that was damaged to have 1 HP left. So I had that card in here originally, but again, Power of the Dark Side just felt better, and I already had a lot of removal, so I didn't want to. Power of the Dark Side is always going to be the card I pick over a 3 cost piece of removal. But that's a card that I would strongly consider in the sideboard. But again, the sideboard is just a complete rough draft right now. But that card was worth talking about because it does fit in here nicely for what it does. And it lines up with Daring Raids as well, and Death Troopers and Imperial Interceptors and all that, just to finish things off. So it makes a lot of sense in here, and I might need to revisit that. Maybe, I don't know, Maybe one perilous position for that at least. I don't know. But yeah, this is a super fun one. I think it has a lot of potential. I think we're gonna see this deck be played. And again, as we get maybe a couple more grit units or a couple more spoilers that fit this archetype, I think this is a good starting point to play, and it's a lot of fun. So I'll kind of show you in some of these games what I'm talking about, how you can really kind of take over the game and get that early momentum swing with Tarkintown, which is almost, it happens almost every game where I'm able to immediately remove any unit that they play on turn one. But yeah, let me get into a few games and just kind of show you some examples of the lines of play and the things that you can do in here that are really cool, and just kind of show you the power of Asajj as an upgrade, which is really incredible. I'm rarely using it as a unit unless my opponent has removed all my space units, which does happen from time to time. But it's still a 4/6, which isn't bad. I wish it was a 4/7 on 6 resources. But I guess, the idea is you want to play it as an upgrade because it's a lot stronger as an upgrade. But yeah, let's get into a few games so I kind of show you the lines of play. Let me know what you guys think, or if you messed around with this leader. Alright. This is an interesting hand. Okay, we have Kylo on 1. I think we're going to let go of these. Okay, get in with Kylo. If they go space, then we can kill their space unit. They did not. Okay. Number of things are good here. Yeah, I was going to say that's... I'm going to let the Deathwatch Loyalist go. It's fine against Sabine, but it's not always the best. Sabine, you really have to play a little more defensively. And I mean, yeah, sure. That's totally fine. Okay. Again, because Death Trooper is like a piece of removal in this deck for ground units. So I just really, not on Sabine the leader, of course, but it's okay. There's another red 3. Okay, now we want the initiative because we want to, yeah, we want to kill red 3. Okay, this is a pretty sweet looking hand. We cannot defeat anything, but that's okay. We will defeat red 3. We will not defeat red 3. We will still do 3 damage to red 3. Okay, an Asajj on a gunship is pretty disgusting. Okay, so we can kill red 3 now with Daring Raid. Or Ruthless Raider even. Okay. And Kylo Bond's gonna sit this one out. Take out the red 3. Heroic sacrifice that. Okay. We're just gonna have to attack. Take 2 less damage, I think. It's okay. It gives it grit. I mean, it already has grit, but it gives us some damage. Ouch. Yeah, we had a number of ways we could have defeated cards. Yeah, I also did that wrong. I could have just used Asajj's ability, dealt 1 damage, killed the wing leader, instead of attacking into the wing leader, which would have been the better play. For sure the better play. So, see if we can still come back from this one. Okay, that's a good find. Slow things down on the ground. Alright, let's go face. Yeah, I think we would have been fine if I did that correctly. Sure. Yeah, because we would have already swung in for a bunch of damage, right? Still think we're going to be fine, though. We're just going to have to play a little more defensively. Well, or just claim the initiative, right? We could play Death Troop for Daring Raid, or we could Daring Raid their face twice. I mean, there's no way for them to get 5 damage, yeah. Again, we're playing against AI, so it's, you know, not always the best representation of things, but yeah, that was definitely a misplay. So that gives you an example of what you want to do differently. Because that would have been an easy win if we didn't make that misplay. Let's do one more against Sabine just to kind of get a feel. Okay, let go of Fifth Brother. And we'll let go. Not the best hand here, by the way. We're probably getting rid of one of these 3 drops. I would imagine it's probably Fifth Brother. Okay. Yeah, so we can use Onyx, or not Onyx, Death Trooper here to kill. Okay. The reason I'm holding on to the droid missile is because it's a very good target for Asajj to help us come back. We're going to use Death Trooper to kill this thing, if possible. Or they're going to kill it themselves, okay. That's fine. They haven't ECL'd yet. So we're just going to pass and let it, you know, if they decide to ECL, then we will kill things. Takedown is good here. So is Force Choke. Gonna go here and set up a Tarkintown. Okay, well that's one of those AI things that doesn't make sense. But hey. Well, we have the Force Choke and the Takedown, so we're just gonna go face. Guess we could have played Fifth Brother plus Force Choke this turn. Would have been the ideal route to take. But that's okay. We're up to 12. Another takedown. Okay, there's the ECL. They both die. Cool. Right, we're definitely gonna go droid here. Okay, it's easy Force Choke target. And that go. And we should be able to finish them off between any number of things here. Okay, well that was easy choice. Get in for 8. 2. And we have another sweet card. Usually I kind of chill around 6 resources in this deck. I think you're gonna go higher against more control decks where you want to get to, like, you know, Crate Dragon. The sideboard is still completely up in the air with this deck, but yeah, another one. I mean, the Asajj as an upgrade is just nuts on so many of these spaceships. Alright, up against Jango Space here. Again, this is just the current version of Jango Space. No mulligan. I like the Daring Raid, I like the top target, I like the gunship, I like it all. There's so many things. So we're either going to go Daring Raid or Onyx, depending on what happens. So we got to get rid of 2 cards. Gunship is definitely good in here against them because they have a lot of ships with 2 HP. Death Trooper is solid. So Death Trooper is like a piece of removal, right? It kills anything on the ground that has 3 HP because of Asajj. So I can just sacrifice Death Trooper to kill something else. Alright, let's get rid of the Vigilance because it's expensive. We got the top target already, and the Onyx, which we're definitely keeping. So then it comes down to, are we keeping Daring Raid or Devastating? I guess we're getting... just getting rid of the expensive cards, right? Okay, so that's exactly what I was talking about. I mean, we could just Daring Raid this thing. I'm going to go Onyx, though, because I don't... Okay, well that's not the worst. I mean, Death Trooper comes in and kills this. Let one of the top targets go, I guess. Okay, they're taking 6. That's a thing. So... cool thing is here, we don't have to use the Death Trooper right now because we have the Pike, which is really cool. We can heal all of that and still not use our Tarkintown. Yeah, Pike's been really cool. It's like a cheap way to deal with things, and it makes things that run into it in certain situations die because they already have 1 damage. It also sets up Death Trooper. Yeah, I think we're going to hold on to Ruthless Raider. So, okay, sure. I mean, sure. Trying to think what we want to do here. Since they're heavy space, let's go Death Trooper first. And see what happens, okay? They went with the Pike. Okay. I mean, this is a good opportunity for us to just... we could wipe out the board, right? So if we just Daring Raid, ISB Agent, and then we use Death Trooper with Asajj to kill the Greedo. That's the safest play, right? It kills both of them. We lose the Death Trooper, but this way we don't lose Death Trooper from their trigger, so which is bad. Yeah. So Greedo, we are just destroying Greedo here. I am gonna focus more on being aggressive with Asajj, I think. Yeah. That is fine. And then we'll put the Asajj on the droid missile, I think. Oof, both these are good. And then we can attack the Onyx into the Geonosis to gain 2 life. Yeah, I guess let's go this route. Not too entirely worried about Jango. Okay. Let's go here. Let's just attack first. Damage ourselves. Let's take away the shield off of the 7th Fleet Defender. Take our damage. Let's just play Ruthless Raider, right? And just start killing stuff. Yeah. Seems pretty good if you ask me. We could have gone just face there, but I mean, I think that's just the game. Yeah, and we're at a place too where like we don't need to resource anything. Yeah, so I mean, we just grit ourselves, and I think it does. If it doesn't do completely win, then yeah, okay. So then we'll I mean, we have so many ways to win, but just for fun, let's do this, and then let's do this. Yeah, so that was fun. This list is definitely tricky. I mean, this totally could look different by the time we get all the rest of the spoilers. It was like trying to figure out, like, do I play more grit cards? Do I play more removal? But Tarkintown feels like the right way to play this with red too, so that you can damage things because you're already damaging things with Asajj. And grit and blue, you know, red and blue both have grit. So, but you know, now we're playing against the Admiral Piett list that I just posted. I kind of feel like we want to be aggressive because their ships are going to dominate us. I don't think we need the top target, right? So many cards here that could be good. Let's just try to be the aggressor. Okay, Krennic is actually fine because we have the ability to get rid of its shield. Okay, yep. Sure. Let's go grit. Okay. Yeah, I think we can't be greedy here. We just need to go damage to their face. Hmm. 5/5 Chilson's not that wonderful. What can we kill here? Onyx? Could also set up the kill for Deathwatch, but we can do that next turn, right? We also have the potential to draw into a Force Choke or that. Okay. If he goes face, that's fine. He is flipping Piett here. So I'm going to do it this way. Ouch. Interesting. Okay. That was weird. So we're okay. We still got a target. I guess I could have played the gunship there, right? Instead of attacking in. You need to slow down a little bit sometimes. Another 5/5. What do I want to do here? This makes this a 6/6 with grit. Well, that would have been nice, right? Should have attacked him with Kylo first. Another misplay by yours truly. Okay. 7. Okay, I never understand stuff like that. We're kind of getting to a place where we need to kill some things here. Ouch. Awkward. Going in for 4, okay. We might be able to win this with Ruthless Raider. And we did. I don't know. It was a close one. They just... I mean, killing Admiral Piett was pretty important. I'm not sure why they didn't play the assault cruiser there. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, last one here is up against the Boba blue list that I just posted. Looks like we have a pretty solid hand. They try to go heavy in space too, so let's go with Loyalist. Guess Bombardment, just because we want to... They're a deck that can be really, really fast. So I want to make sure that we have ways to slow them down. Yeah, that's a card. Try to diversify our hand. Get in for 3. Okay, sure. And sure. That's definitely a... Oof, card's so good. Definitely an open fire because that is an incredible target for Boba, the leader, to attach onto. Okay. Attack first. Alright. Go ground space, maybe? Sentinel. Here. I don't want him to attach onto Onyx, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Because that is a problem. Also prevents him from killing us as easily. So now he's forced to... I mean, he could have a Ruthless Raider or something, but that he attaches Boba to, but we'll see. See what we can come up with here. So 6 resources. I want to hold on to the Death Watch. I mean the Perilous Position. Okay. Sure, I guess. Let's get in with that before he kills it. Eesh. All this indirect damage. I'm gonna go ahead and deploy this. Wait, that's not right. I can't do this now. I can't undo it, can I? It's too late. Yeah, because I wanted to be able to do 1 damage on Hylabon and kill that. I hate that it doesn't have an undo button. Okay, let's just perilous position our boy. Sure. This is a 2/5. Let's just do it to ourselves. Okay. I'll take 2 here. And 1 there, yeah. Sure. Sure, I'll do that all day. Yeah, the Asajj upgrade is just so nuts. I like that card. I like it in here too. Just Power of the Dark Side is better. That's the problem. It's like, it's a good card, and I think it's probably worthy of a sideboard card, and it probably should be in the sideboard. But, yeah. Another good one. But yeah, you kind of see we just kind of chill at 6 resources. There's no reason to go much higher in a lot of matchups.